welcome back to Inky and Scrappy. For our Let's Start Stamping series, I've pulled some paper, I've pulled some stamps. I have some ideas in this noggin of mine. I might even make the same card 3 times and use all 3 of those. I haven't quite decided yet. We'll see how the first one goes and if I want to do it 2 more times. I'm thinking we'll probably do 3 because I think it's going to be a quick card. I picked something that had some larger coffee sentiments and kind of built from there. I kind of have my layout picked out in my head, and so I'm thinking, you know, this is where I'm going. But so life's too short to drink cheap coffee. Which one did I like? Oh, Pilates? No. Oh heavens no. I thought you said pie and lattes, and that sentiment brought in the little cutie pie from Fawn. And then I had to find a latte, of course, that was gonna size well with the whole pie. So the little latte from the Treat Cart add-on coffee, I think will be about the right size. You could definitely go a little bit bigger with it, but I think we're gonna go with the little size and the bigger pie, because, you know, pie and lattes. I wish I had a slice of pie. I think that would be kind of fun and just really cute. I think die cuts for this one, like a little teeny tiny coffee cup, was kind of the other thought I had, which I'm sure I have one here somewhere. I know I've even made it. I think it's even in a Christmas set. That's like a teeny tiny latte, which would be really cute with this one as well. So maybe, well, we'll see. Like I said, I haven't really decided how many I'm doing yet, but I'll leave out those 2. I don't need the sentiments for that one. Let's get the stamping part done right away. And I think I'm going to end up hand cutting these off camera just because there's going to be, I don't think I have the pie die, so I'll probably just, I think they'll be simple enough to hand cut out. And I'm just going to use a block for these today. My ink pad is freshly re-inked. I'm feeling the, you know, I'm feeling confident that I can get this to work this way. I could also just stamp it a couple more times if it's not working quite right for me. I'm going to stamp an extra one just in case I decide to switch up my sentiment and I want to do 2 coffee mugs instead of coffee and pie. So more, and it's such a small image. It's, you know, not that big of a deal. Oh well, we'll just go with 6. Let me clean that. I'm using a TE's stamp cleaner thingy. It works very well. Thank you to Cindy and Amy for that one. You know, because they know I'm horrible at cleaning stamps. So for the pie, I'm gonna plop that one on there, and we're gonna do the same thing for this one. I love me a freshly inked ink pad. It's just satisfying when you can just one and done. Oh well, I didn't touch that one quite right. I can fix that later. Anyways, one and done, except for when I say one and done. Yeah, that's how it goes. And we'll pop this one back on here. For my ink colors for this one, I'm going to keep it really simple. I think the E288, which is also E47 in the new number system, will work for my pie. We'll throw in a, let's see, I have a few gray options here. So I'm going to go with a cool gray option because it's going to look more like a metal. Granted, your pie pan could definitely be non-metal. So I'm going to go with BG042. Where are my BGs? BG04. I may have reorganized all of my markers, and I do not know where they are all currently located. Okay, so I have the gray and the tan here. And then for my latte cup, I think I'm just going to use, maybe we can do that warm gray 150. will give us just a nice coffee color. I'll probably bring in maybe the YG, I don't know, like 200 maybe. Where are my warm grays? Warm grays. Okay, so we'll go with that one. It's almost black. It's not quite black, but I just want to add a little bit of tint to my color, to my sides here, just to kind of help give that white some shadow. So hitting all of the sides. I'm not going to blend that out. I'm not going to go with the second layer, keeping that one super simple. And then for my lid on my coffee cup here, I'm going to go the whole thing with black. Well, this warm gray 170, or sorry, 200, warm gray 200, and or WG 36. And so once I'm done, I'm just going to come back in and hit the sides of those ones again, kind of hoping to give it a little bit of a round shape. You're not going to see a whole lot because it's a really dark color, but you'll see it a little bit. I'm going to wait with coloring the sleeve on them just because I don't know exactly which ones they're going to go on, and I might want to color coordinate, add a little pop of color on there in a little bit. So for my pie, I'm going to start with this layer, and then in between each of those to kind of give it a crimped look. And then once I have that done, I'm just going to come in and color the whole thing once over again by going with that second layer of color on here. You're going to darken that first layer, and so it's going to give you the illusion of using multiple tones of markers to get your contrast there, or to get some shade and or shadow. For the last one, and then never be afraid to go in with a third layer if you feel that your first layer and your second layer kind of got lost together. Don't feel bad to go back in. It never hurts to go back in and get a third layer in there. You can also work your way up if you want a little bit more color variation in there. You'll get a second and a third layer, and that's going to give you even some more definition there, all with one marker. And we'll do the same thing with the gray marker for the pie plant, pie pan here, kind of doing like we did on the cup, but we're going to come in with the first outside layer first, and then to help make it look round, we're actually going to go over that whole area. This way it's darker on the outside, lighter towards the center, and so that's kind of, and it's such a small little area on the image that it works well. Now you could definitely add maybe like some little pie slits, you know, like slits in the top of your pie crust, those sorts of things, with like some added color in there if you wanted to. I am going to shut the camera off, cut this one out, and then I will bring in some paper and we'll start building. So with going with that pie and lattes one on this one, so this is the Brass and Bliss Caffeine set. I'm going to go with this one. I'm just going to measure it. So I'm going to use the 1 inch as my measuring guide. So about 1 inch wide is going to be, or tall is going to be big enough. And then, let's see, can you see on this one? Let's see if it's pull this one in. So 1 inch, so 2 inches. So 1 inch by 2 inches is what I need for this one, for my sentiment on it. And so keeping that one in mind, I pulled out a couple of papers. There's some scraps in my notepad here. There's also, you know, some good variety. Tone on tones if I don't want to do the pattern one, which is what I was planning on for this one. So I'm going to cut this one down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I want, so this will be my base. I want my strip piece here to be, we could do this one. I think we're gonna go with, we're gonna do maybe about a 2-inch chunk there. So let's go, let's go 2 1/4 with this one. Do I want, I'm trying to think how much. So this is the height of our actual panel. So kind of plain with that one. I think I'll go with 2 1/4 for this one. You could go 2 inches. You could cheat it probably up and down a little bit there. I'm gonna go all the way across. So I'm gonna cut this one at 5 1/2. And then this one is gonna lay on this piece like this. I don't have a lot of times I'll write out the map for you. I don't have a map written out for this one yet. And so kind of going that tone with this one. And then I'm going to need, let's go with a smaller piece here. What is this one? This one is going to give me, so if we cut the other one by 1 inch wide, we can do this one, what did I say, 2 inches. So if I go 2 1/2 here by 1 1/4. This one's at 1 1/4. So thinking this is going to be the base piece for my sentiment. I need a sentiment piece. That might be a good one for my actual sentiment. Do that one for the sentiment, and then this one for the base piece. So we had 1 1/4, so let's go 1 I don't want a huge one on there, so I'm gonna go 1 1/2 for this one by, we did 2 1/2, I think. It'd be really good if my memory remembered exactly what I just cut. And we're gonna go 2 1/4 for this one. So this is just gonna give it a little, you wouldn't need to do a layer on this one, but I think it helps it just kind of jump up and off the page there a little bit. Now for the other part of this one, I want to do some little flags coming in and or out. And so this one I'm just gonna cut about 1 inch wide. So this is 6. I'm gonna cut it at about, do I want to do a whole inch? I probably want to do 3/4 of an inch for this piece, because I'm going to make a little flag that comes out on this one and this one. So here, and then that one is one we already used. That one was one we already used. I could go with the tan, but that, like, I don't know if I like that one. So on the back side, we can do the little pies, I guess. What's on the back side? I like the little coffee ones too. Maybe we'll do the little coffee ones. Okay. So this one I'm going to cut at that 3 1/4, 3/4 of an inch long. Why does it look so much shorter than that one? It just, okay. Any scissors. And then I will cut to length in a little bit here. And you could actually probably do this one shorter and just get the row of coffee cups. That's kind of cute, actually. Okay, we'll go that route. So now all we have to do is stamp this panel and glue it all together. Do I want to color my coffee on my coffee cup? Decisions. For this one, I'm going to bring in VersaFine Onyx Black ink. You could definitely go with a sepia tone because my brown paper, but I know the Onyx Black is going to give me a really good sentiment that's going to stick out. and not get lost. So I am just going to eyeball this one and hope for the best. Not too shabby. It helps with the lines, I'm not gonna lie. So tone on tone plaid is gonna give your eyes some, you know, a little bit to go off of, lining it up wise. And you're not totally blind on that one. So I'm going to add this one. Giving a little bit of a room at the bottom. Now I want to tuck this one in, so I'm not going to go glue tight on this end. I'm going to go glue a little bit away from that end, just so I can kind of get a piece of paper tucked underneath this side once I have this kind of on. And so the idea with this one is going to be to kind of give it those little flag ends, so you can fold it in half, just a light half. You don't want an actual crease mark, but if you give yourself the center part of this one, you can make a little cut up. Depending upon how wide or how big you want your tails, you can go, that will depend on how deep you cut, and then you just go from corner to corner and meet in the middle part, and that'll give you that little flag look. I'm guessing I don't want it any longer than this one, so I'm just gonna trim that one off, and then we'll do the same thing with this one. And you could definitely measure it with a ruler if you would like to. I find eyeballing it, you can, if you have the dies to cut it, go ahead and do your cuts like that. A flagged sentiment die will work for this, and then you can always cut it in half, and then you have two halves, so you can get two cards out of one cut sort of thing. And so because this one is, I can trim it up, and I'm just going to push the little end underneath there so it kind of hides it. It kind of gives it another layer. I can go shorter with this one, I can go longer with this one. It's totally up to you. So just cut a little bit off of this one. I think mine is like 1 3/4 inches about. And then I'm going to tuck this one under there. I don't want it flush with the bottom on this one. I want there to be a little bit of differentiation there. I hope I said that right. Anyways, so you kind of have a flag hanging out there. And then this one I'm going to actually come in behind. So you can kind of decide where you want this one. So we're just going to glue this one on. So you can kind of, you know, place it, either you can, because I made it littler, I could have made it bigger and just kind of hid part of it underneath there, and it would have been fine. But I think we'll go about there with it. I think that's good. So I'm just going to tack that with a little bit of glue and then kind of figure out where I want it to line up. I don't want it to be flush with the top again. You could definitely go smaller, bigger with this one. So this piece could be a lot bigger, and then those tails could be wider if you want. You could definitely make them shorter, make them go all the way across, those types of things. Honey, honey, honey. Okay, so once I have the glue on there, I will pop this one in. This one you can definitely go down here if you want. I'm gonna go just a little bit off of that one. I want enough space above, but you could definitely go, you know, if your sentiment's bigger, you could definitely, or your image was bigger, you could definitely go wider and go further up. Oh look, I left a glue dot. I guess we're going to be putting something there. I was planning on doing embellishments anyways. So over, you know, to one side or the other, you can center it in the middle. I'll probably have mine just a little bit this way, because this way I can add in my little images down there. I maybe should have been faster with the actual gluing down, but you know, there we are. So that is on. I think some of my glue dried. Oh look, most of my glue dried. Okay, glue dries fast, place quickly. All right, so now for my little latte and pie. So for this one, you could definitely, if your flags are big enough, you could throw that on there. You could definitely throw it here and or over on this side if you wanted to. I'm thinking I'm gonna go down here and just kind of, I don't want to say, well, yeah, I want to make it like level, I guess, when I think of images and that sort of thing. So like offset, there we go. So offset the heavy on the top with the little bit on the bottom here. I did not color those. Do I want to? I think I want to come in and bring in either a tealy color here or an orange color. I don't know about the green so much, but one of those two colors, because it's going to kind of highlight those. So we could definitely do that YR 596 or YR9. YR9. So I have the YR9, which is going to be that orange tone. Do I have a, I don't know if I have a blue that's going to be really close. BG, this one would maybe be the closest. I mean, I could probably get away with the G482 BG010 would probably be okay with that one. You could also go with the BG05 or the G191 would probably be an okay one. The green, if you want to go green, doing that G289 or YG012. Excuse the frog in my throat, also known as tree pollen this week. I'd say wrong number. It was my husband. It wasn't necessarily the wrong number, but he just called me and probably hit the redial button, and that was not who he was aiming for. Okay. You know, I'm good with it not being. See, like if I'd have just gone with the little ones and not done the pie, I could have totally thrown those ones up there like that. If I had a pie piece, that's where I would put it, because it would be like a lot smaller and it would go up there, and then that would be the entire card front. But since I have the bigger pie, the whole pie, I'm gonna set that one down here. And throw my little coffees on either side. Oh, I didn't cut off the top of that one. Oh well. And then let's pull in some bling for this one. And we're going to go really simple. We could do coffee beans, would be kind of cute for this one. Somewhere out there. Well. Okay. I have some options. So these are the pearlescent peach ones. I think these ones would be kind of fun to add on there if I want some bling. The little brown chocolate colored clay hearts would be cute on this one as well. Just the clear bling. I do have coffee beans. I think those aren't going to stick out as much as I want them to stick out. I think I'm going with the peach ones. So I'm going to toss some of these in my little handy dandy, I think, what is this thing called? It's a hors d'oeuvre little server thingy that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. I think it comes in like a pack of 12, but it's just kind of cute and it was cheap, and I can definitely use it to get all of my little bits and pieces back into. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Picking out where my bling is gonna go is like the hardest part. I'm kidding, but not really. Big, little, small. So I have those ones there. Do I want to do, I'm going to come down here and just do, and then because I'm going to have to balance it, I'm going with a lot of bling. Doop be doop. I tend to do big, medium, and small, but you can definitely just get away with like doing small and medium or big and medium. Is this one another small? This one is my medium. Where I think I have all of my big ones towards the inside, so I'm gonna go with the bigger one over here. There we go. And there is our card front for this one. On to the next one. Okay, so on to the next one. A different kind of color palette here. I don't know if this one, you don't have to go with the pie and lattes for this one. I'm thinking, I love people who make me laugh, make me think, and make me coffee. Not necessarily in that order. It's a little bit bigger, but I think I'm gonna like that one. We could definitely go with a white border on this one, so I'm going to cut this one at 4 by 5 1/4. Instead of that full A2 size panel, we're going to mount it on white cardstock, so we're going to end up with that little bit of white border all the way around. I think that'll be fun, and I think we're going to do this one as our pattern paper here. I want to cut off the rough edge on this one. So this one is going to measure to, let's do, I'm going to do 2 1/4 on this one again, I think, possibly. And then I will cut this one. I'm going to actually cut this one at 5 1/2. It's going to give it a little bit different look. This is going to hang out over the side, so it's going to fill in. So you're going to touch this one from side to side. It kind of gives it a little bit different look. We didn't change a whole lot. It's literally 1/4 of an inch off of this one, and this one's going to stay the same. And then for our little strips here, let's see, what do we have? We have this one, which is the Love. I'm going to cut this one at a solid inch instead of doing that 3/4 of an inch. I'm thinking if we cut this one a little bit bigger, we can get this one to hang out on, like the coffee cup will hang out on this one. So we're going to cut that one there. And what are my other options here? This one's got little hearts, but it's a different color. We could definitely go with one of those strips if you really wanted to. I could do the florals, I guess. They're going to be on the other one as well. So we're gonna, this is at 6, so I'm gonna cut this one at 5, knowing that I'm gonna flag the one end and probably cut it down some. So we have that piece and that piece. Now I just need my base and or border piece here. So let's cut this one down to measure our sentiment here. So 2 inches wide again, probably 2 1/2 tall for sure. So Do I want this one? I think I'm gonna make this one my, should we do this one as my sentiment piece? I suppose we can. Which way does she want to cut it? 2 1/4 is my width. Don't mind me. 2 1/4 wide on this one. And what did I say? Tall? You know, I just measured it and forgot already, right? Okay. Probably an inch and let's go 1 3/4 inches for this one. A little bit bigger. So I want to do a white piece of cardstock behind this one instead of going with another pattern, which would work a lot better if I had white cardstock. Scraps next to me. I did not. Okay, so no, I did not already forget. Yes, I totally forgot where I went with my cuts. So this one is 1. So I'm going to do a 2 inch. Oh, that wiggled on me. Okay, try this again. 2 inch here. And then this way is going to be 2 1/2. Hold it on the corner, girl. Okay. And we should be done with those cuts. So, let's see here. We're just going to go and do my snips on this one again, just like we did the last time we did this one. Figuring out where that center point is. I don't want these to be overly long. I want them just to kind of be a little bit narrower, I guess. And then if you like the one side, you can definitely just line it up on the proper side and do it on the other one. Making sure to cut from the corner, so that's the only, make sure you don't muck it up. You can always cut it off and make it smaller. Let's be real. Oh look, I didn't take the one out that I just had on there. Shocker, I know. It's not really, is it? Okay, we're gonna ink this one up again with that VersaFine Onyx black. I think we got good coverage. We're freehanding it again, hoping I don't have the lines this time, so I really do actually have to eyeball this one. Hold breath. Not too bad. Alright, so for this one, I'm going to grab a card base first before I get too far. And I'm going to mount this piece onto this piece before I, can do much else with it. You could definitely go with a brighter color on your big piece of paper and then maybe a tone on tone on this strip. I'm not always that bold and adventurous, but this is a great way to use up some of those 6x6 paper pads that some of us might be hoarding. That might be me. I might be calling myself out. I might have had to get a different storage device for said 6x6 paper pads because they outgrew their current living situation. Yeah. I like pretty paper, I cannot lie. It's even worse when I get to see it in person. Yeah. Not cool. Okay, well, I mean, it is cool, but not cool. You know what I mean? Oh, and I stamped it up upside down, so I have upside down hearts. Beautiful. Okay, no lines, upside down hearts. That's what we're going with today. And so this one's gonna go there. This one, do I want to do? Kind of like that one there, so I'm gonna do this one. That one there. Whoops, I wiggled it. I want to see if it's mostly straight. Okay, and then this one I'm gonna kind of come in and play a little bit with. I'm going to trim this one off really short. Put a dot of glue on it, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to sneak this one. Oh, a little bit. So sneak it under there just a teeny tiny little bit, and I'm going to overlap these ones quite a bit. And then I'll just tuck in a little bit there. And then we can come in and add that whole little panel onto our card front. Oh look, I wiggled. Shocker. Quit laughing. Okay. Come on, you were tucked under there nice. Now I have glue all over. Alright. I think we're good here. It's on crooked, I mean straight, right? Straightish. Okay, for this one, I think I'm just gonna do the coffee cup, 1 coffee cup, 2 coffee cups. I could just do 1. Cover up some of my oopsies. There's like, I may have possibly gotten some ink, I don't know how, on my stamped panel. Don't look at me, I don't know how it happened. Inky fingers, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna pop that one here. These would be really cute as like stickers, like little tiny puffy stickers would be really cute. Oh, I want some of that pink to hang out on the top. Okay, now for this one, do I want to come in with a marker color? I don't know, but I kind of like maybe like that pink. I don't have that, I don't know if I have a tealy green color. We can maybe get away with that one. G437. We're gonna go light with this one in hopes that it's not too dark. I mean, it's a little bit darker than what's on there, but I think we'll be okay. So I'm gonna color this one the same way we did the coffee cup, or like the white part of it, and then going over the middle. So more like the lid than the cup, I guess, because we didn't do the second coat. And so there we have that one. Ooh, we could do little heart gems on those. That'd be cute. Like some pink ones. I don't know if that's the right pink. Let's see. I have these ones. It's about the same pink, isn't it? These ones might be a little bit brighter. Dooby-doo. Do a little heart, and then go a little heart. Picky stick. So this is just a jewel picker or a gem picker, a nail art tool it might be called. Usually I just refer to it as like a gem picker. Oh look, I didn't even have to go into great detail on my coloring because I'm going to cover it up anyways. Why didn't you guys tell me that? Ooh, we could even go with the green one. Oh, the green might have been cute on the coffee. Do I want to switch it? I still have time. Okay, we'll switch the one and we'll see if we like it. I can always go back to the pink. Maybe, if it's fast enough. Ooh, I kind of like the green on green. Okay, switched my mind. Burp. And then we have, whoops, the one there. I almost want to do more. Do I want to do more? No, we're going to keep it simple. Girl, walk away. No, you can't put those back in there. Okay, so these are pastel hearts from Recollections, as are these ones. You can always, if you can't find the mix that you want or the color that you want, get a whole bunch of white ones. If you can find these in white, any of the clay bits in white that you might want a different color, you can color them with your alcohol marker and custom make whatever color you want with them. I do that a lot. Hence why most of the white ones are probably picked out of there. I think I found this, like some white clay bit hearts that live in my collection just so I can color them to match whatever I want them to match. But there is our second card. So pretty quick and easy, excuse me, minimal coloring because of course we already kind of colored those little coffee cups, which are teeny tiny, but you could definitely do stickers, like the little foam stickers would be really cute on something like this, and then you wouldn't actually have to color anything at all. All right, so we're gonna set that one off to the side. I don't know where I set the first one, let's be honest. So let's move on to card number 3, since I have, you know, more coffee and pie left. We might as well go for a third one. Okay, I picked out some papers again, and we're going to go with the largest sentiment on that caffeine set. So I'm going to do the May Your Coffee Be Strong and Your Mondays Be Short, only because the inside sentiment would be, and then she had the audacity to ask if I wanted regular or decaf. I said, honey, it's a Monday. Don't even play. But truth, it's not decaf coffee like sadness in a glass. I get if you just love the flavor of coffee and you can't do caffeine. I get that. But for everybody else, seriously, I might be addicted to caffeine. I actually don't drink as much coffee as I used to. I switched to tea in the morning, and I'll have espresso during the day when I remember. We were joking. I was with my cousins on Sunday, and I said, yeah, I made myself a double shot of espresso today. And then my children said, Mom, why is your coffee got like 2 rings in it? Because some of us forgot about it, had a sip, remembered it an hour later, had another sip. That's how I roll. So this is like the leftover with that. I'm going to cover that up with my little flag thing. And so this one is like 2 1/8 of an inch. I'm just going to leave it at a 2 1/8 of an inch. I think it'll be just fine. I'm going to cut off the end that I feel is going to shift over my circle towards that side of the card, because that's where my sentiment is going to live, or my, you know, my sentiment is large and in charge. So we're actually going to use a lot bigger piece today. So I'm thinking this one is a 2 1/2 inch by 2 1/2 inch block. So I'm thinking if I cut 3 inches tall for my sentiment will be okay. So I'm thinking a 3 by, let's do a 3 inch, that's 2 1/2. So if I do a 3 inch block here, and by 2 3/4 inch, that should be my background piece. This is a specialty piece of cardstock. It's just kind of shiny and fun. I just thought it would stick out a little bit better. And then we'll cut this one to, I like to get the most bang for my buck. So, who can I switch? I can wiggle it. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one at 3 here so I kind of know what I'm working with. What did I say? 3 inches? No, I cut this one at 3. So 2 3/4 of an inch by 2 2.5 is what I want. It doesn't look big enough for my sentiment, but I guess we will see how badly I messed up. It'll fit, I think. Okay, we'll come back and do the flags. I want to make sure my sentiment's going to fit on this piece first. And maybe I should have done this one on the stamp platform. We'll risk it though. It's a fairly large, chunky sentiment, and it's the first time inking it. It's just paper. Okay, I'm going to line that one up as best I can. If you see the top of my head, I didn't comb my hair very well this morning. That's what happens at 4:45 in the morning and you really don't want to be up for the day. Every day. It's kind of what happens. So I'm going to let it sit for a little bit just because I want to make sure that it soaks into the paper and we don't have any issues. It's got that distressed look. We're good. I would definitely put a big chunky one like that in your stamp platform. You will get a much better impression. Now, this one I could definitely go back with a gel black pen and go over it and make it fun. Do some lettering with glitter markers, that sort of thing. I can fix it if I don't like it. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. I'll be okay. It's not my first rodeo with messed up sentiments. And especially with the pattern paper that I went with for the background, it kind of has like the little lines and the little squiggles, so it might be fun to add some glittery accents to my actual sentiment. So I think that'll work. May your coffee be strong and your Monday be short. And then of course we have this one and this one. And I need to find all of my other options here. Where did I go with my paper pad? Shh, I didn't just have it. I totally just had it and couldn't find it. I don't like the floral. That's not going to work. We could go with this one maybe. We could do the green one possibly. Which one is, I think I cut them both out of the same pieces of paper. What's this one? Okay, we have this skinny one. I think I like that one. This one would work as well. I like them both. Oh, decisions. And there's this one too. I think we're gonna go with the pink, peachy pink, and the green, floral green. I think I need a floral in there instead of all the lines. Okay. I didn't say I make sense. I just make it up as I go along. So for this one, I'm gonna do the short side here. Since my sentiment is so long, I'm thinking I'm gonna go 1 1/4 inches on this one. And then 1 1/4 inches on this one. Do I want it longer than that? Oh, decisions. Okay. Is this one about 1 1/4 inches? It's probably about 1 1/4 inches. Woohoo, looking good. So it's 1 1/4 inches, about 1 1/4 inches wide. I can't say it's exactly 1 1/4 inches wide. but it's close enough. Close enough for hand grenades and horseshoes. And bags, I guess. It doesn't have to be in the hole, it has to be on the board. It's close. And then for this one, we're gonna do, I don't know if I want to do, and I think we're just gonna do, I'm gonna do a tear on this. Just to give it a little bit different texture than the other ones. So if you hate cutting arrows, tear. This one. Alright, so we're going to glue this one down. Ooh, baubles. I'm trying to think what I want for embellishments on this one, and I don't know if I want embellishments on this one. We'll see. This one I'm going to go more towards, do I want to go more towards the middle? Yeah, we're going to come down a little bit. And I'm going to tuck my little green piece here. I probably shouldn't have glued the whole thing. We're going to tuck this one underneath there again. Glue. And then we'll tuck this one. So I'm going to actually glue this one down onto my card base first. It's just placement wise, it doesn't really, it's not a huge deal. I just want it to kind of stick out this way, and so this one I can just, because I already had it glued there, I figured I was going to have issues. And then we can just lay this one over the top and kind of figure out where we want placement wise. So I think I want it to kind of go, I'm measuring the distance between here and the bottom of my strip to kind of give it the appearance that it's equal distance from the top to the bottom and the side, but I'm going with this bottom, not the bottom. Does that make sense? I don't know. Layout wise, it made sense in my head. Okay. So I have that part done. Do I want, I mean, I really didn't need more than one pie for today, and I colored 3 of them, like the doofus that I could be. Do I want a coffee cup? I think we're gonna go with the coffee cup right there. I think I want a bigger coffee cup, and I want that kind of coffee cup. So I'll be right back. So I wanted to match the ones in the background, and so I think I'm going with like a black mug, and I'm gonna hand cut it out and cut the foam and the coffee part off the top. I know, call me weird. It's okay. So I'm just gonna draw my own kind of pattern on here, going with the curve of the mug. Do I need another? Probably. Then I'm just going to take that lighter gray, kind of hint at the outside here, and the handle, and I think I'll leave, did I leave the rest white? We'll just go over the whole thing one more time. So the gray that's on the outside is going to be a little bit darker than the gray that's in the middle, and then I'm just going to cut this one out where I want it to be. This is the pumpkin spice stamp set. It's just that mini, I think it's like $4 now for the mini, you know, it's like their little mini They're little mini ones. They can make cute cards too. I think I've actually used this one on several videos on my channel. One in the Brewing Up Creativity class that I taught locally. I don't want to cut this out, but I'm going to cut this out. Don't poke my finger, don't poke my finger. Okay. Just because I don't want that white to be in there. I could definitely find a similar color marker and kind of color it to match the piece of paper that's under it, but we'll just cut it out quick. Call it good. Okay. I don't know if I have that cut quite good. Okay, so then I'm just gonna pop this one on this piece. Does it look silly? I don't know. I think it looks okay. I was thinking some white gel pen. Let's make sure we're working. This one's the 05. I want the number 10. So 05 is going to be a really thin one. I think they sell them in like a 3-pack of 05, I think 08, and then 10, which is the bigger point. I like the bigger point for a lot of things, but sometimes the smaller one is nice as well. I'm just going to draw some steam coming out of my mug here. I kind of want to draw a line there and make it black. Why? I don't know. Should I? Ack, in for a penny, in for a pound. Bring this one in. Okay, so finishing off that one with the mug on it. Do I want, of course I want some bling. Let's go there, here, and here. And we're going to come back in with the peach little round sequence solid confetti bits from Cat Scrapiness today. I think we're just going to go with 3 little bling dots on this one. And then I said we could fix that with, you know, some glitter markers if we wanted to. I'm going to bring in some of the Ohuhu black glitter ones. We're going to run out of camera film here in a little bit. Not really film, but battery. So I'm just going to come in and accent the bigger swoop downs, I guess, on these. I think it'd be kind of fun. Sticking it to one side only. There, swoop, swoop. Coffee. Swoop on the coffee. Just kind of doing that with all of the letters. Of course, there's a lot of letters on this one, so it's going to take me a little bit. Excuse my playing. I love adding to large, chunky sentiments. My handwriting sucks. I'm not going to lie. It's horrible. I hate it. I love copying other people's beautiful handwriting. I think it's fun. Maybe it'll make mine look better sometime in the future. It's doubtful, but you know, it's a nice thought, I guess. So there we have the May Your Coffee Be Strong and Your Monday Be Shorter. So we have y'all know I can't ever stop with anything. My battery died, so whatever, I had to switch it anyway, so I figured I would come in and, you know, place more. So I did add the black onto the back of that one. I didn't have to mask anything. It looks okay on there once it's all done. And I can just come back in and add those little white stem lines later, you know, after it's dry. But so we had 3 cards. I mean, basically we did the same layout. I did switch the coffee mugs on that one. So I did come back in and, like, you know, add some more glitter and bling. I love it. I definitely could have just added the 2 little I couldn't find the other one. Otherwise I was going to abandon my big coffee mug ship and just go with the 2 little coffee cups. And that would have looked totally fine as well. So don't feel like you had to switch that one out. I just like this shape with the shape in the background. I think there was a pattern in there that was the regular coffee cup, like I had already had, which would have been kind of cute to throw that one in there instead. If I'd have thought through my card making process, maybe I would have gone that way. Anyways, I have leftovers, it's all good. So May Your Coffee Be Strong and Your Monday Be Short. With the added glitter pen over the top, it just hides maybe what you were not liking about your inking on the stamp, because, you know, it's got that distressed look, but I like it with the glitter. It really hides any flaws in there. And then of course, you know, my little coffee cup to the side. And then the original one that we did, the first one that we did, was the Pilates Oh Heavens No. I thought you said pie and lattes. So very similar. This one's got kind of a fall vibe, but also just kind of a chill vibe to it. And it's not over the top. It's definitely simple, balancing it out, smaller sentiment. I like the fact that you can see it. Same layout, 2 totally different vibes to the card, I guess. And so you get, this one's a little bit more busy on the big part of the background, where this one is definitely more tone on tone, laid back. And so I think you can see kind of the difference there. And then of course the placement of the coffee and pie gives you some ideas. So if you go with a bigger sentiment, and or you can just go with an image here, you don't need to add an image there and just use those as like additional flag pieces or layout design. It doesn't have to work into an actual image. And then of course the one we did in the middle, which kind of bridges I don't want to say bridges the 2, but it kind of sort of, this one definitely has more spring vibes to me than fall and or, I don't know, calm coffee shop vibes, right? So I love people who make me laugh, make me think, and make me coffee. Not necessarily in that order. I don't know which one's my favorite, because I like all of them. I really love different elements to each one. So I love pie, so maybe the pie, but I really like the glitter, so, you know. And this one, I love the little hearts on the coffee cups, and it's just kind of a super simple one. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you watched only the first one, or if you watched all 3, thank you. If you want to like, subscribe, comment, all of those things help the channel grow. I can't say I'm going to get better at posting. It is what it is. It's called, they don't pay me to be here. I'm just here sometimes, not always. Bye. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Bye.